So here with James from SRT Automotive, his wild SRT 300C. This is a factory 6.4, but it certainly doesn't sound factory anymore.
No, it is not.
What have you done to it?
I've done a Hellcat engine conversion.
Wow, okay.
So we built a motor for it, something a little bit grumpy and a bit cool sounding.
So it's not a direct crate Hellcat engine, you've actually built the motor?
Yeah, so we built the motor. It was in pieces. Basically, I bought it in individual components that I wanted. I didn't want a factory Hellcat engine. I wanted something with a big cam in it that was a bit grumpy and, you know, sounded a bit wilder.
So how do those Hellcat engines differ from the factory 6.4?
They have different cylinder heads,
different
bolt pattern on them made from a different material, and the supercharger on top and forged internal stuff like that.
What size is the supercharger?
2.4 litre.
Okay, quite large for factory. I guess they make a lot of power from factory,
They do.
I think, what, 770, is that right?
707
707, yeah. Oh, the Demon's 7.
The Demon makes 808.
There's multiple versions of these engines, yeah. Give us a look at this. This is, I mean, quite the bonnet going on here.
Yeah, I borrowed that bonnet from a friend.
Oh, wow. Carbon intake. Oh yeah, big conch throttle body.
So it's a modified supercharger, so it's been ported internally, billet bearing plate. This whole piece is recast. Basically, I wanted it to look like standard but make more power.
Yeah.
So I could buy a bigger aftermarket blower and make more power, but it was more about the look of it, keeping it looking like a Hellcat.
Is it running more boost than stock?
Yeah, so it's got a bottom pulley on it.
Yep.
10% overdriven, so it makes about 3 pounds more than stock. So it's on about 14.8 pounds.
So you've had this on the dyno before. What sort of power have you made?
660 horsepower.
On a roller dyno?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, this could be a handful on the dyno today, trying to imagine how much torque would this make?
A lot. It's not too bad on my dyno.
Is it a tyre fryer? No. Or does it put it down all right, does it?
No, it spins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it spins everywhere. So it basically will never hook on the street.
Yeah. Is this your prime type of car you work on? Maybe not to this level, but...
Yeah, probably not to this level, but...
HEMI orientated.
Yeah, so mostly, Jeeps and Chryslers, cam packages, stuff like that, engine modifications.
Those, I've been blown off the road by a few of those Jeep SRTs before.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a weapon off the line.
They move and they hook. So, you know, they're not the fastest car on the street, but they put it down.
Yeah.
So it's still the factory 5-speed Mercedes-based trans. We've got upgrade valve body in it, higher line pressure, stuff like that. The rear end's
coping with it all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So the rear end's still standard. I've got a Hellcat rear end.
What's the Hellcat transmission in comparison to this?
The Hellcat's a ZF 8-speed.
Yep.
This is a Mercedes 5-speed. Obviously the Hellcat trans is rated for the power.
Yeah.
This isn't, but we're sort of pushing it. But
it's holding up though.
Yeah, the old Merc guys, you know, they ran this in the E55s and stuff. They pushed these transes, and you know, there's guys with 1,000 horsepower with these transes. So
this is cool. It's very different.
Yeah, it was. You know, I built the car 2 years ago. No one had sort of done anything like this. Then there was one car in the USA had been done in a 300, and I thought, you know what, I'll have a go at it.
How easy was it getting it in there? Does it bolt
straight in? Standard mounts.
So the heads aren't any wider, or there's no issues like that. It's just.
Yeah, so it basically bolts in there. It's all the electronics to run it, the cooling system. And
but what fuel are you on?
Just pump 98.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I can swap the upper pulley and go on E85 and make another 100, 150 horsepower. But
it's 150 horsepower, to be honest, you probably don't need.
Nah, and you know, I just...
it's not like in this wind.
Yeah, and I can daily drive it, not worry about I'm not going to make it to the fuel station or you know what I mean. So.
But sorry, what software are you tuning this with?
HP tuners.
HP tuners, yeah.
So it's got a full Hellcat PCM swap because the Hellcat actually ran a different PCM with dual widebands, PWM fuel pump, PWM cooling fan, a whole bunch of other cool stuff. So I wanted to integrate that. So you know, if a fuel pump dies and it starts to lean out, it'll chase the AFR target and you won't blow your motor. So
that's cool.
That was something cool that I wanted to do. So
let's get this on the dyno and see what it's going to be. Pretty noisy.
Yeah, it makes a lot of noise.
Now it came in before, it had quite the lump. What exhaust system's on it?
So it's still running factory block headers, off-road mid-pipes and a pacemaker catback.
Yeah, what camshaft have you got in this?
It's a custom comp, basically Mobar bought out a crate motor called the Elephant that made 1,000 horsepower.
The Elephant?
Say that again.
The Elephant.
Hellcat. The Hellcat.
I haven't actually heard that one.
It's a variant of the Hellcat engine that Mopar Performance do as a crate motor, 426 cubes, 1,000 horsepower on pump fuel. So it's one of those cams.
It's one of those cams, yeah, that's cool. It's got, go record this thing idling, it sounds nice. So that's not a bimodal, it's just...
Yeah, it's just
like this all the time?
Straight catback, yeah.
Have you tried some like drag radials?
I got a bead-locked 15-inch wheel and stuff.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So I've got a proper rear end that'll hook it at the track. So
you haven't run it yet?
Nah.
No.
So that's next. So on 98, it should sort of go low 10s, and on E85,
have you weighed it?
Yes, it is 2,200 kilos with me in it.
Wow.
So that's 4,700 pounds.
So how much is that an increase over standard?
It's about 100 kilos more than standard. Just the weight of the blowers, 55 kilos plus cooling system.
So that just made a bit over 600 horsepower, I think.
Yep.
And you mentioned that's a stock crank, and that's a 6.4 revving to, I think, what, 7,800?
Yeah, 7,800 is when it would have commanded that shift at the end of the run. So yeah, it turns, so it doesn't really peak power.
Well, looking then, I think he did a run in fourth gear because that's 255 k's an hour on the dyno.
Yeah.
I don't know how high these dynos can rate, but
250. This is speed limited to this one.
that's what we're wondering. Did it hit the speed limiter on the dyno then? I think that green, that's a third gear pull, is it?
Yeah. So it sort of made similar in third and fourth.
But you can see the power just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's not dropping off there at all.
Yeah. It doesn't really peak, which is kind of scary because I don't want to turn it anymore. So.
No. But I mean, these engines were made to rev and make this kind of power factory. So
yeah. So the factory Hellcat engines, they've got an RPM limit of 6,200, but they're still making power there. So they bump the rev limits up on those to 66, 68, and still make a bit more horsepower.
And you got another 1,000 RPM on that.
Yeah. So, and it kind of makes the rear gearing, it's got 306 rear gears, it makes it a bit tall.
Yeah.
So it needs a drop in rear gear. So
would this be good for roll? Be good for half mile?
Yeah. It's
on,
probably good for rolls too.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking about going up to Heathcote for some rolls and stuff. So
that's cool.
You can have it if you want.
The car?
Yeah.